Rocco, the chairman of the Milford Independent Town Committee. We have a small business in town, 24 Lexington Green in Milford, Connecticut. And I'm probably not going to be as nice as everyone else when it comes to raising taxes in this town, because I'm adamantly against any kinds of unnecessary tax increases. So I'm going to talk about conservative government and why I think it appears to be dead in our community here. First of all, citizens of this town are being hit with a tax increase that outpaces the rate of normal inflation, and the more appropriate measure is the CPI, or Consumer Price Index. The difference from the normal Consumer Price Index for the entire Northeast is 3%. That's for the gain in all goods and services for 2010. The largest increase emerging from that is transportation costs, that's up 14%, just in that one single area. The nuances of each category are arbitrary and beside the point. What matters is that the new property tax rate represents a 3.5% increase compared to the CPI of 3%, and this is after we had a 0.6% gain in grand list. For our region, Northeast, and Milford is growing its local government at a rate that I believe is approximately 18% above normal, partly conservative by any measure. The areas that I found to be clearly exemplify what I believe to be regular spending this year were excessive legal costs to defend the illegal actions of city employees, overpayment on office supplies, where in some cases the city paid as much as $1,400 for 2 desk chairs, hundreds of thousands of dollars wasted on reports that were unnecessary, like the Frick report and those studies done at Eisenhower Park. More waste was achieved when a tax collector outsourced his business tax collection, paying a commission of over $100,000. More waste again creating new expensive government posts, i.e. the land use czars, flight czars. Then we have lots of waste on raises, bonuses, stipends, city travel expenses, etc., etc. Well, I sit back in awe, and other people kind of just ignore what is really going on as if these problems don't really impact the people of our community. I want you all to remember that Mrs. Garcia, who lived at 55 Pearl Street, she committed suicide during the holidays last year. Yes, that's right, Mrs. Garcia was a good person who spent many years in Milford. When a foreclosure notice came, and then the state marshal, she killed herself. There must be some kindred spirit, some compassion or loyalty to the taxpayers of Milford. There must be some restraint on the part of the greed and avarice of some select city employees who show such unmerciful selfishness in what their personal interests are. There are city employees who would rather see the less fortunate and protected city employees let go before foregoing their contractual legal right to a wage increase. But none are guiltier than those who knowingly and carelessly rip off the city taxpayers. I think the time is now upon all of us to take the responsibility for the plight of the citizenry of our community. And I think the time to question the wrongs of these new excessive tax increases on who can least afford them should be considered. Today, the Milford Mirrors come out, as it does every week. And I bring it up with me over here. And I want you to take notice of all those homes that were sold.
Mr. Frank, if you could begin to summarize this, because I'm being very generous with your time, and I want to make it if you could.
I understand. I want everybody to take notice of those homes that were sold for $1. That dollar represents the shattered dreams of about 2 or 3 families each week. Families who have lost their homes before foreclosure. And who will be their voice in the water they've always forgotten or never thought about. Some have deservedly fallen victim, perhaps, their slovenly, laziness, avarice, or some other terrible attribute a person could have. But however, there are others who do their best to stay in their homes, who work 2 jobs, sacrifice their time with their family, or worse yet, cannot find